I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Jason Blick, the Chairman of EQIFI. Jason, welcome to the show once again. It's great to see you, and I'm excited for this discussion.
Thanks, Ashton. It's always a pleasure.
I would love to kick off our introduction by getting the viewers up to speed with a little bit on your background in finance, banking, and in blockchain, and how that led to you co-founding EQIFI.
Yes, thanks. So I've been in finance for a long time, more than 25 years. I took my first financial services company to about $1.2 billion. And then I started EQIBank in 2015, and we bank clients in over 180 countries around the world. And a year and a bit ago, we started Ekify, which is the first fully licensed and regulated DeFi platform.
Very exciting. And yeah, I think this is a great segue into new opportunities, new products, in an innovative space for EQIBank to have a digital bank, finally getting into something where you can bring more power back to and just more opportunities. And I would love for you to explain a little bit more about what is EQIFI and why did you create it?
Well, you're absolutely right. There's been no sensible or specifically exciting innovation in banking for decades. Most banks use the same technology that's going back 40 years. They use Cobalt, big data centers, and Swift itself is now more than 40 years old. So we're not seeing a great deal of innovation in centralized institutions across the board. DeFi exploded obviously about 3 years ago, and the origins are back to the P2P markets from many, many years ago. As a global digital bank, we really wanted to power an initiative in the DeFi space. So we started EQIFI approximately a year ago. EQIBank powers the DeFi platform, and EQIFI has gone out to launch 4 products, which are doing extremely well, and we couldn't be happier with the launch.
Very exciting. And maybe you can talk about some of those main products. I know your team just launched, and what were the first things you saw as most important to deliver to these customers at EQIBank?
Well, I think one of the major concerns has been whether DeFi platforms are appropriately regulated, whether they're licensed, what happens if something goes wrong, Ashton. And that's really limited the industry. So at the moment, DeFi is around $100 billion a year, which is obviously completely dwarfed by the size of the global banking industry, which is over more than $130 trillion. So it was sensible for a banking institution to move into the space by powering a platform. And we launched, as you say, on last Friday. So we have 4 products. We have a fixed rate lending product. We have a variable rate lending product. We have a yield aggregator, which is obviously very, very popular at present. And rather unusually, we have an interest rate swap product, which is the very first one in DeFi. And we're going after that $500 trillion interest rate swap market. So we're doing something very interesting.
Very interesting. And yeah, the size to get in right now at 100 billion compared to, as you say, 130 trillion. It is nothing. It's like not even 0.1%. So there's so much room for growth right now. And it does look like it's been a successful launch so far. So congratulations to that. And I'm sure your team understands that this is just the beginning.
Yes, absolutely. What we're doing now is we're building interoperability between the DeFi platform and EQIBank products and services. So clients and users are going to be able to have credit cards, bank accounts, custody facilities, OTC, in conjunction with those core 4 products that I just mentioned. But interestingly enough, we're very much the first, and we've vanquished anybody else in the space. But to us, it's an existential threat. DeFi is an existential threat to existing banks. So unless existing banks start to go into this sector, or at least power initiatives in this sector, I worry about their long-term viability.
Definitely. And when they say if you can't beat them, join them. And I'm sure there's a lot of banks that are afraid to move into the space because they don't want to move their original business models and change and pivot. But it seems like EQIBank is very forward-looking and understands that this is where the future of finance is going.
Well, we were very blessed. We opened EQIBank in 2015, but from the minute get-go, we had a completely blank sheet of paper. We weren't burdened with that horrible legacy technology. So we were able to create a digital bank that not only serves 180 countries around the world, but is focused on digital onboarding anywhere in the world, digital payments, makes it a lot smoother. So that architecture made it a lot easier for us to go in and power a DeFi platform. I don't understand how most other banks, big banks in particular, are going to be able to go into that space, not least of which is they simply don't have the compliance structures that are fast enough, that are speedy enough and efficient enough to be able to meet the needs of DeFi users. So it's an interesting space, very hard to get into.
Definitely, and that's incredible that EQIBank has grown so quickly. And as I understand it, not having that legacy infrastructure and the brick and mortars tying you down and having overhead costs allow you to expand rapidly.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a complete nightmare for big banks today. Before they even wake up in the morning, most big banks have 50% of their tech budget already allocated just to maintenance. So we have all these guys and girls literally in their 60s and 70s programming COBOL in data centers. It's a great profession for them. But anybody less than that age group just has no experience of COBOL and simply doesn't want to. So us, along with a couple of other really leading digital banks, have been able to use more appropriate cloud-based services, virtual services, etc., to enable client same products in the world 20 hours a day and functionality to a platform, the safety and secure knowledge of to something innovative as DeFi.
Great. Thanks so much, Jason. And now with the 4 products launched, successful launch so far, I'd love to know, looking forward, what are the main goals for your team now with the launch under the belt?
Well, the most important thing is assets under management, AUM. The more AUM you have, the better liquidity you have, the better product rates you can give, and the better rates you can give to more people. So that's the principal objective now. But in addition to that, is making sure that we're meeting the needs of the community. We're onboarding people quickly, we're providing loans and facilities and deposits in literally seconds or minutes, and we're really giving them all the facilities that they need, and concurrently bringing in that traditional money, as I've mentioned. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll be rolling out the new Ekify credit card. So I believe we are the very first DeFi platform in the world to have its own credit card for users. And that means that they can spend their DeFi earnings or otherwise and loans facilities wherever they want in more than 180 countries. Thereafter, we'll be rolling out bank accounts for users through EQIBank, custody, OTC, and wealth management. And then the end game, which will be some way away because we need regulatory approval, is to have a single platform for EQIBank and Ekify, so clients can seamlessly move between all of our DeFi products and all of our banking products. So that's where we're going to be, and that's the aim for the end of the year.
Wow, well, that's quite a bit from now until the end of the year. I'm looking forward to that, especially the card. You know, and having an Ekify card, I think that really ties in the real world into DeFi, and people are like, oh, I can actually spend and see my balance on a card. So I'm super excited for that to launch. And I'm curious, I was looking into the community governance of Ekify, and I'm curious, as you continue to grow out, how focused are you on driving governance through the community and having that decentralized nature as it is related to DeFi in the platform as well?
Well, banks, including EQIBank, are very much centralized organizations. So many people feel that they are out of touch with their bank. Their bank doesn't listen to them, the bank doesn't understand them, etc. We try and do things very differently at EQIBank, but it's still a centralized institution. Our primary objective in Ekify is to truly make it community-owned, community-governed, and the community will control everything: rates, new products, returns. And we love that vision. We think it's right, and we hope eventually that more banks will listen to what users and the community want and provide similar structures.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's a great competitive advantage and unique proposition to stand out from traditional banks, not just having DeFi products, but also having that community actually have a say and have a part in the products as well. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Oh, thank you, Ashton. Thank you for your time today.
You're very welcome. For the viewers that are looking to try out these products right now and also follow along with these updates that you mentioned, including the credit card and merging with EQIBank, what's the best way for them to get involved into the community?
Sure. So we have a phenomenal website, including videos that assist people in understanding what we do and our individual product sets, and that's www.equibank.com. And then they can also follow our Telegram group, which is listed there, along with our other social media.
Sounds great, Jason. I will leave all the links to Ekify and EQIBank as well in the description box below. All the best with the continued growth in the DeFi sector. I'm looking forward to these major updates coming out, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you, Ashton.